All right, hey everyone, and welcome to the No Guts No Galaxy podcast 142. We are your hosts, Phil and Darren. How you doing, man?
I am doing well. As you know, I just got back from my birthday trip to Yosemite, one of my favorite places to go in the world. So I had a great time. It was your birthday, my birthday. Birthdays are over. Now we're
May
moving.
May is a good month. I'm just saying.
May is a great month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a good trip. I'm happy to be back. We are diving right back in. Boy, getting back to work, it was like crazy today with the tournament and with everything else. We'll be talking about the things that we've been working on here in a few minutes.
And speaking, today is June 1st, 2016, and I just want to toss this out there too. We've had a few people, not many, but like, hey, you missed 2 weeks of podcasts in a row. You guys were doing so good, every week. Keep in mind, guys, at least this is how I feel, and I know I've talked to you, Darren. If we don't feel like there's a relevant topic or something that we're really passionate or anything about, or maybe something comes up, we're not going to do a podcast. We don't want to force ourselves to do one just to do one. And I feel like that's just important. I just want to get that out there for maybe someone out there is like, oh man, that's like 3 weeks, dude. What's up? And also last week I wasn't able to do a podcast. I left like at 2. I had to get up at 2 in the morning on Wednesday last. But anyways, yeah, I had a
We'll
trip
call
out
it a
to.
we'll call it a birthday month.
Yeah, it was a
That's our
birthday.
excuse. No,
Birthday.
but honestly, I mean, you're right. We don't want to force them. Every single week, we talk about what the potential topics are, whatever. In fact, today we were actually having a little bit of a hard time coming up with topics. That's why we're doing kind of a community questions type episode. But starting next week, we have some guests lined up and some topics that will be lining up and allowing us to do more topic oriented podcasts. So whatever, let's just have some fun with it today. We'll be relaxed, kick back, and chat with you
So
guys.
I want to toss this out there. We've had Community Warfare 3 for a while now. We've had the Kodiak, which I think is a fun topic to dive into. And speaking of the Kodiak, I'm gonna go ahead. You brought up something was interesting. G-Man wrote an article. He does the new mechs come out. He does his like, hey, these are the builds that I'm doing, and he had an interesting sort of mindset of it. And I know you asked me about this, but it's the whole, and he said this a few times, even with clans way back in the day, which was, um, does it cross over into pay to win? And I think that's actually a very relevant topic because obviously free to play. We've had World of Tanks. Me and you've talked about, pay to win gold rounds forever. And you asked me what he meant by that, where it's sort of borderline. And I think where he's coming from, and for those that don't know, when the clans were first announced, and if you bought them at the very beginning of the launch, how superior they were at the time to the Inner Sphere mechs, especially heavies and assaults, that a lot of people looked at it as yes, those will be released at X time for in-game, currency, but until then, uh, you know, you're potentially going to be going up against, stronger mechs. Now, how do you feel about that? Like here we have the Kodiak that comes out, and right now it is ridiculous. You can do quad UAC 10s. You can do that on the Direwolf, but why is the Kodiak better? Higher mounts. The Kodiak also has agility quirks and survivability quirks. You can boat more with the Direwolf as far as UAC 5s or 2s or LBs or whatever, but they're all lower mounted. You can do quad Goss effectively, actually, sort of stupid, even though it's gimmicky, on the Kodiak. You can't do it as well on the Direwolf because the Direwolf doesn't have Indoed Pharaoh, and it also has an XL engine where you have to run a standard on the Kodiak, but that's fine. So, looking at this in general, what are your thoughts on the whole? It'll eventually be out for free, but until then, this particular mech, or let's just say in practicality, a mech or a series of mechs, may be superior than other things that are out there.
Well, first of all, thank you, Opie, for making the question official. He said, "How do you guys feel about the Kodiak?" So thank you, appreciate that, Opie, and also Lathomir, sub hype 6 months in a row. Lathomir, thank you for the support. Yeah, we did talk about that. Um, I didn't. That's why I asked you. I mean, obviously I understand what pay to win means, and I understand, a paywall or a pay barrier or whatever. My feeling about it is you're paying to be an early adopter, and the only way that it would be pay to win is if it meant something other than that for X amount of months, 2, 3 months, you're running around in a mech that you, what are you doing here? Are you being a Kodiak?
21 months in a
21
row.
months. Oh my goodness.
that is
That's blackjack is what
that's
it is.
that's a
21
long
months.
time.
You win, Phoenix Gray.
Phoenix just
Sub hype.
he
Thank
did.
you for the support, Phoenix Gray. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, so basically, that's how I feel. I feel like it's pay to be an early adopter. You're not winning any contests because of it. Most of the player-run leagues, they police themselves as far as they don't allow mechs like that in
Okay.
game until that it's available. Until it's available for everyone. So
But
I
what
just think
about
it's
what about
an
regular
early
Joe
adopter.
Schmo who's dropping solar group queue, and obviously when a mech comes out, everyone takes it, right? But what about
The
those
only
guys? Is that a valid criticism of the?
unless team A or team B is allowed to have Kodiaks and the other team, the opposite team, is not allowed to have them, then again, I don't feel like it's an issue. There's going to be people on both sides that have them.
Okay, so you're saying just because of the randomness of solo and group and just how it works, the it'll just sort of blend in to the general
Pretty
thing.
much, yeah.
And one point you did make there that I think is sort of pertinent is a lot of the actual player run leagues, if it's not out for C-bills, you're not allowed to use it. And I know some people don't know this, but for the tournament, the world tournament, um, all mechs are on there. You can buy and have any mechs, so there's no paywall behind. Like let's just say, back in the day, the Dragon Slayer used to be like top dog, the Oxide or whatever. Right now, so it's one of those things where you don't have to worry about that. So I guess another question is like, what do they do? Like, what are your guys' opinions out there on this? I mean, here you have a mech that on paper was gonna be really good, and it comes out, and some of them do have quirks, and I know a lot of people are a little uh, surprised, I think, of like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, why does it have quirks? It's gonna be like the best mech ever. But there is just a select few variants that are just really, really good. But I guess this is more of a question internally. I don't necessarily have the answer right on top of my head, but looking at how we have chassis and chassis creep, as we've sort of coined it over the years, is a new mech may come out and it may, because of hard points, location, physical geometry, the tonnage, the equipment that it's allowed to have, it may just be straight up better than an equal chassis. And I guess that's sort of a question I'm proposing to myself to sort of think about, and you guys out there is how is that handled as we move? Because we have how many variants? 300 plus variants, and it's only going to get more and more and more. So do you just buff the other ones and then it just creates power creep like we have? Yeah, I don't have an answer on that one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's something that you and I know is being discussed every day behind the scenes in one way or another. Moving forward, 6 months from now, a year, 2 years, whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously not an easy answer. Power creep and all that. I mean, I understand the Kodiak 3 is pretty serious beast, but I don't know. I guess we'd have to see the stats, know the stats more, what people are using, what people aren't using. But no doubt about it, it is a powerful mech, and a lot of people feel that it is OP. I can't be the judge of that though myself.
I would say in the current state, it is the best assault in the game. Now, I'm not going to say it's the best mech in the game because it depends on the pilot, depends on the circumstances, but in the right hands, the thing is just straight up lethal. The speed really helps it. I mean, the mask is amazing on the Spirit Bearer. Who doesn't want to go 90 kph? But what you're seeing is pretty much the UAC 10,
That
the
quad
three.
UAC, and then you're running what? You're running dual Gauss and two UACs or something?
Yeah, dual Gauss, two UAC 10s, and then two Flamers. So when someone, which actually have been very effective of
I
late,
know. I'm seeing people actually being
two
effective with flamer. Isn't that weird?
because a Black Knight
What?
or a grass something with a laser bomb will come out, it'll alpha, and you just hold it onto them, shuts them down, like unless they just overheat themselves. Which, anyways, but I just feel like that's a bigger topic in general. Is I think it's been coined power creep, if you will, but chassis creep. Do they have to tone back quirks on the Kodiak? And I think that's just sort of as a bigger question in
I would
general.
love to see just a community tournament of 100 tonners. What's the video that we have that has that one scene with the Atlas and the direwolf doing the kind of they're circling each other, the cartoon,
Oh,
the
Sir Dub Dub,
Sir Dub
yeah,
Dub's.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I just love the face off between the 100 tonners. It would be cool to see some really good players playing in the Atlas and the Kodiak and the Direwolf, and just see kind of in general what tends to come up to the top. If it's going to be the Kodiak every time, without a doubt. I mean, obviously that's not a perfect measure for what's OP and what's not, but it'd be fun to watch.
Well,
But anyway, yeah,
I think what you just asked though is when you look at it as a 100 tonner to a 100 tonner, what does the Atlas do better than the King Crab? What does
yeah.
the
Some
Direwolf
people are
do
saying it's
better
tankier
than
or
the
whatever.
Kodiak? Right, and you got
Hmm.
to look at the Kodiak, in my opinion, is sort of like the Atlas, where it has more of a vertical profile. It's faster, obviously. It's able to shield left and right. But the difference between the Atlas and it is it can pack a hell of a lot more firepower. And not only that, it can pack a hell of a lot more medium to long range firepower, let alone close range as well. So, yes, the Atlas technically has a ton of structure. So does
King
that make it
Crab
up?
of two is of course, of course.
Yeah. But so anyways, Kodiak definitely I would say the Kodiak 3 is OP right now. Some of the other ones are borderline, and I think the clause here is it's always in whose hands. Uh, Watching Proton, what was it last week before I left? Proton was streaming, and he was running the 3 with dual GOS, dual UAC 5s, and 2 ERPPCs. I'm gonna say that again. Dual GOS, dual UAC 5s, and 2 ERPPCs.
He
And
runs the craziest freaking builds and he makes them work.
and it
He's
was
insane.
it was it he was
I
doing
love
work.
Proton.
Yeah, he was doing work.
Anyway, yeah, I agree. Let's see who said that. Somebody said let's move on. Let's get some questions going. See what you guys are interested in talking about. Of course, Phil and I this week we've been starting to kind of dive into, well, not starting. We've been working behind the scenes kind of with the tournament for a while, getting ready for that. Matches are starting the end of this week. We've got, of course, the Phoenix
Ooh,
Hawk coming out.
speaking of which, we will
Yep,
be doing something a little bit different that I think you guys are gonna like for the sneak
for the
peek.
preview video for the Phoenix
Oh,
Hawk. We're
that's
gonna
all
have
we're
some fun with
saying.
it.
That's all we're saying.
Yep. We got,
Oh,
of course,
and
new Frozen City. Yes.
yeah, I'll drop that on you guys. I was playing around on it earlier today. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers. I'm not gonna say what. I know some people were concerned about the Frozen City being totally revamped. I can tell you it was not. The majority of the map
Very
has
familiar.
remained the
Yeah.
same. All right, that's all. They're
Yep.
already getting words out of me, and I haven't even. I just said I wasn't going to do it.
No
Um,
town hall on Friday. There'll be announcement when the next town hall is going to happen.
Speaking of which, someone was saying, why don't we post, or why don't they post ahead of time? I don't mean you are the ones who help schedule those. Usually we post up immediately, so I will make our even a better effort, I guess, to make sure that's done. Just saying, like, as soon as we know, we'll let you guys know.
The bottom line is because we don't plan them a month ahead of time. It's basically like, are we ready? Do we want to do it or whatever? And honestly, it's usually Russ just says, "Hey guys, let's do a let's do one on Friday," and we
Well,
have like days
yeah,
notice.
let's go dive into that. Todd Camp says no more town halls till major announcements. We weren't happy. Me and Darren were not happy with the last town hall, but there was the reasons being, and we looked at it and we talked to Russ about it, which was, hey, I think we should wait till there's more to talk about, I guess is the thing, and also
Well,
the
the bottom
format.
line is we were holding ourselves to a schedule. We decided, I don't know how many months ago, that we were going to do one a month,
Yep.
and at the time it seemed like the appropriate way to go. But obviously, that is not the case. We need to do it when we have stuff to talk about, when we're when we got
Yep.
content coming up, whatever. So anyway, yeah, that is the case for town halls going forward.
All right.
So the Phoenix Hawk, though, are we going to say anything about that? It's
No,
fun.
I'm
It's a
gonna
fun little
I'm
mech. I think
gonna
that's going to be a film mech, isn't it?
I'm gonna I'll wait till I'm not gonna say anything about it.
It was nice to jump into a new, smaller mech after Kodiak's
You're not
all
getting
over the
shit out of me.
place.
That's we're moving on. Phoenix Gray asks, Phil, the new sensor benefit for the Cyclops, does this add onto command console or not? Actually, I don't know.
Does it
Um,
stack? Is that what he's asking?
yeah, or something to the fact. I think you're Phoenix, to sort of answer you in an indirect route, the command console needs a total revamp. I also feel like targeting computers need a revamp. I think they have some cool attributes right now, but I feel like they need to add tangible rewards. And also because of how they're stacked as far as Mark 1 through Mark 7, I propose this question, would it break any builds? And I'm legitimately asking, by the way, what if targeting computers were treated just like mask, where only a certain tonnage bracket could use certain uh, target mark. And now, before you jump down my throat, the reason for that is you could dramatically buff the tier, fours, fives, sixes, and sevens, right, to be, for their weight. Where someone, because right now, if you buff the Mark 1 too much, everyone takes Mark 1, and that's where we're at, right? Because it's just perfect weight tonnage. I'm just wondering if it would break any canon stock builds. And if not, I think targeting computers could go that route, and then you could buff them in different attributes. But I'm interested.
Phoenix Gray was asking if it stacks. That was his
Oh,
original
gotcha.
question,
But yeah,
which we don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
The it's not available in the backend server that we use to test stuff, so we don't have the answer for that. Sorry, Phoenix.
Oh, I am being mirrored. That's interesting.
What does that mean?
Oh, by the way, we're not using Skype, guys, anymore. Notice how my text is like backwards on my thing?
What does it mean that you're being mirrored?
I think it's just how the camera. Well, I'll figure it out later. That's nothing I can do. Um, so like my right hand is on the left. Anyways,
Gotcha.
let's see. We had another question. Let me go
Yeah.
up here. Let me scroll up. What are your Opie asked? What do you see faction warfare going in the future? Where do you see it going in the future? Do we want to? Do we want to?
I mean, that's a loaded question. In my mind's eye, I see all kinds of things and directions where it could go in the future and where I'd want it to go in the future. Um, Let me just say, we won't spend a lot of time on this, but I've talked to Russ personally about it, and Russ is very open to the future of community warfare, meaning that he's not being stubborn saying what we have now is perfect or anything like that. So I'm going to say sky's the limit, honestly, and all kinds of things are possible. Where it's going to go, we're not there yet. Things are being looked
So
at,
let me
discussed,
let me
monitored,
let me
whatever.
propose this to you, Mama Bear.
Mhm.
Is the current CW3 engaging enough? Has it pulled you in? And if not, why? Let's be honest with the beard. Let's hear it.
Uh, no, and yes, yes and no. I haven't been playing with my unit much lately. So, like, you started a unit, and that made, I think, the logistics of dropping in community warfare a lot easier for you. So you were doing it. Whereas I kind of the unit I started with many years ago, Aces, just haven't been playing with them as much. That's more my fault. So yes and no. I love the scout missions. I like something different. Um, I still don't like the queue times. I have issues with it. I can have a lot of fun with it. Even the after a 20-minute queue time or whatever, you can get into a good match, and so I can have fun with it, and I can be frustrated like other people with it. I think that it's not where it needs to be. I think it still needs a lot of work and potentially a ton of work. Um,
So we've not to leave you out on the hook.
mhm.
We've talked about this, and I think there's a few things. CW to me, one of the main issues I've had with CW, even with CW3, has been that it's 24/7 nonstop. And it's ambitious. I get why they're doing it, right? Because if they don't do that and they go towards more of like a World of Tanks where there's a window for, North American time zones to play, the one problem is you have to create a Euro. You have to create an oceanic server, right, for those individuals to play. So then you potentially have two different faction warfare or whatever's going on. But they could be unique and say certain planets and certain territories are open. I just feel like for me, looking at the whole picture, I think a World of Tanks style, they call it clan warfare, but faction warfare would fit better with MWO to where, think about this. I mean, if you're a small, like right now, if you're a unit, the chances of you actually getting a planet is almost slim to none, which means your rewards for MC and stuff are just almost not there. The fact that you have to be on 24/7 and participate on this stuff all the time, remember we in Eve, I used to say that the FC is being under so much pressure sometimes of having to be on 24/7, right? Because there was big engagements going on, and that takes a toll. And that's sort of where I see MWO and I feel like MWO would be in a better position CW wise if, and this is what I'm talking about for those, is you're unit leader and you have battle A, B, and C. And battle A, B, and C, you already know 24 hours ahead of time what time it's going to be at. And that window may be from 9 p.m. Eastern to 12, I don't know, whatever. You know what map it's going to be, you know what game modes it's going to be, you know any restrictions it's going to be. But guess what? The rest of the time, you're not having a you're not having to be in faction warfare. You'd be in the group queue, you'd be in solo queue, and you would allow it'd allow you to do other things than just faction warfare. And I feel like that is sustainable, and I guess that's another word, sustainable. Um, and
Here, well,
I don't know another way. Like people, I know there's few people that are like, no, 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 no. Well, how? How are you going to make it? And also, too, is anytime you have groups of mixed sizes of it's
well, I don't know if
it's
that's the only other option. Obviously, we're looking around, seeing what other people are doing. But look, MWO is a niche game. World of Tanks is a huge global game, much
true.
bigger
And
population. And no, well, I'm saying, and so what I think what we did as MWO is we had grand ideas and shooting for the stars, but I think we overreached a little bit. We're more of a niche game. What I get worried about right now is just there's too many buckets, too many queues, and we're talking about, like we've talked about before, Solaris coming up and all these things. All that's doing is separating an already small but wonderful community.
yep.
And I just feel like there's got to be some way to, I hate using this word, but I'm going to simplify things to a certain extent. But also, on the other hand, on the flip side of the coin, I want to make some things more, not complicated, but give some things more depth while simplifying other things like queues and how maybe random battles compares to faction
Yep.
warfare or whatever. I just feel like it needs to be examined. We're
And
going down a path that has too many queues being
and
developed.
and I'll concede, and I know someone in chat, Jacob, doesn't agree with what I'm saying. I'll concede to you, Jacob. Um, Even if you looked at CW, and some people are saying they love 24/7, get it. Game modes. It's I'm gonna take a word from Bandit here. He calls it Corridor Warrior Online, right? It's you're literally funneling people, either 2 lanes, 3 lanes, because you have mixed groups, and the lack of coordination ahead of time, by the way. And you're going up against either bigger groups or full 12 mans. Again, I still feel like that's a huge problem. Um, I feel like game modes, and I'm okay with 24/7 if you can make it, if you can get people to where it's all encompassing. And one of those things is them not logging on, either obviously as a solo player, you can still drop against groups, which again is you're not going to have a good experience. And I feel like that's the big just hurdle is how can you make faction warfare fun, or maybe not fun, but so enticing. Can solo players work? Can you have groups in solos together? Can you have mixed groups going up against bigger groups or 12 mans? And I feel like that's the big question.
The bottom line is exactly what you just said. And do I keep saying the bottom line is? But there's multiple bottom lines, maybe. But does it work? That matters. Like everybody
Okay,
has personal opinions.
is CW3 working right now?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, it works as in it's operational, but I don't think it's drawing people to it and keeping people there month after month. And I don't think it's bringing in new people as much as we can. Look, I played World of Tanks Clan Wars for years, loved it. I have a passion for it. That kind of competitive environment, bringing a unit together. Some of those people that I played with are still the gamer friends I'm playing with 5 years later. My favorite people ever. It created this, tight bond between us. We showed up every night fighting for our territory or whatever. I loved that experience, and I want that experience for MWO. I don't want to gloss over it and be okay with something that's subpar. I want it to be as freaking great as it can possibly be. It's just not as easy as, a lot of people go, well, just do this and that fixes everything. There's so much to it, and there's the fundamentals,
Well,
there's the icing on the cake. There's all kinds of layers to the issue. It's not just game mode, it's not just team size or group size, it's not just buckets and queues. There's all kinds of things. They all play a part in whether or not in the end faction warfare is going to be fun, popular, growing, and sustainable. And right now I think there's good ideas out there, and I can tell that there's a community of people that totally want to do it, but I just don't think it's where it needs to be.
and my main concerns again is sustainability. And I know some people are out there like I like 24/7 and I get that. My biggest issue is, is it something that in the long run, and I don't know the numbers, we haven't talked to Russ about that. We haven't asked, hey, are you guys happy? But, you know, I'm I'm optimistic. I think obviously if they do merge and just do more of a clan versus IS, I think that would help out dramatically because it also reduces 10 buckets down to like one. And I think that could be a big step. So again, I can see that what I was proposing with World of Tanks is the extreme. I mean, it's a complete makeover of CW, and I don't think we have to go that route. But it's a possibility, I guess, right? If they wanted to go, but I feel
Well, I
like
think we need to put all the options on the table and examine them all, and not just say no to any, and I'm
yeah.
not picking on anybody, but I just think it
And
has to work.
another thing too is even if you say, okay, Phil, 24/7 isn't going away. People like it, and we think we can make it work. So how do we make it work? And then it would be, okay, well, you've got the game modes. How can a unit be effective in a large global or a large planetary fight, but they don't have to be on 24/7 because that's not tangible. Also, bigger units, the more you pay for more people and blah blah blah. It's not like you have a tax though every month. That would be another another thing. But to say, okay, the whole ticks and marks and stuff, and you having to participate. If you're only, let's just say, active for, let's just say, have an average of 3 to 4 hours in a night, how and what can design do to say we want them to have an impact on the engagement that's going on a planet or two? But right now, you don't have that impact. I mean, you literally have to be on, the entire time, or at least between the, ceasefires.
Something I'd also like to see vectors bringing up, the factions. Factions is another element that adds to a split player base. We are a small niche-based game, and we've got freaking 10 factions that you can join for faction warfare. That is splitting everybody across the galaxy, literally. I feel like, and now there's been talk of, well, you can do seasons, and every season, whether that be a month or 3 months or whatever, it changes. There's one inner sphere, representation, a house or whatever, and then there's one clan representation, and it keeps switching every season. I personally don't really like that. What I like better, now, I'm not saying no to options, but what I personally like better myself is I want it to be just inner sphere versus clans. However, Afarius, thank you for your sub 5 months in a row. Woo, sub hype. Thank you, Afarius, for the support. We appreciate it, man. But what I think it should be is it should be strictly inner sphere versus clan, but allow us to represent the units and the houses that we want to represent,
So keep
whatever
it
that
keep it
means.
as right now, but
Mhm.
all inner sphere are helping to fight
All inner
against you,
sphere versus all
right?
clan.
And then
Because you can't tell people not to represent their favorite houses or units or whatever. People
yeah,
will freak out. This is mech warrior. This is BattleTech. People want to represent their units and their houses. So keep it so it's just inner sphere versus clan. Bring everybody together. Allow you to still represent, but then that just totally reduces the buckets and the queues. And it's just little stuff like that. I think there's things that can be done that will be done, and I'm not saying that's it, that will make it better. And I hope that stuff happens.
I mean, but I still think I think that would solve a lot, but I still think one of my major gripes with CW is the game modes. Um, like it's literally the same thing. You get funneled in on every single map. You've got gate A, gate B, gate C, and to me, I feel like the one thing with MechWarrior games has always been open-ended, right? Like, uh,
Well, keep in mind we've never had this. We've never had
no,
PvP,
no,
clan wars,
but
or faction
but
warfare. So
we've had other titles with different game modes. I mean, whether it was a mod, whether it was even the
well,
old MechWarrior
I'm
4
curious
days.
as far as the whole the corridor thing. The two biggest freaking games in the world are all about the corridors. So
Are you talking about
why is that?
League?
Yeah,
Yeah,
League and
but
Dota.
you also have respawn
Yeah.
over the course of however long the match is,
Well, we have
four mechs, and then
respawn.
that's it.
Yeah.
And you have X amount of.
I'm just what I'm my point is I don't necessarily know that the corridors is what's killing it. I think it just needs to be made more interesting and more engaging.
Yep.
I think there's people out there that like corridor warfare, and there's people out there that like yourself that don't. I don't. I just don't think that's the specific thing. I just think it needs to be more engaging, more fun, and just thought through more.
Yep.
Um, Jacob is all of our ideas are terrible.
Terrible. You go do a
That's all
podcast.
right,
We'll
Jacob.
listen to your thoughts and
Yeah.
opinions, and maybe they
It's
won't
okay.
be
You don't have
terrible.
to agree with us. But
Um,
anyway, yeah, that's faction warfare. Let's move on to another question since we are kind of.
all right, so we're moving on. So, guys, by the way, it is live questions, so you guys post them, and we will talk about them. Don't forget, retweets are appreciated. Link is in the chat, and we'll go ahead and go from there. Let's see. Lothamir made a point of saying too is with CW and faction, I guess just sort of why is said planet important, or why is said you don't have a tangible reason for taking said planet or a territory, or this or that. It's just this big
Oh, I'll tell you what it
thing.
is, what it's going to be. It just needs to be more MC. It needs to be MC, but more of it. I mean, that's honestly, well, it needs to be fun. It needs to be fun and engaging, and then you need that reward, the MC. I mean,
Yep.
World of Tanks, we did want to split the gold when we held a territory for days, a day, and for a week, for more, whatever. That gold did matter to us, so we want the financial reward, and also we just want it to be engaging and fun, and a great place to experience group communicating, voice comms, all that stuff. It's that experience, but there does need to be a good reward.
SL Bit asks, the June rescale is a big deal. Is there any information coming before the 21st? I was actually talking to Russ about this earlier. As soon as we can, we will be posting before and after shots of every single mech that's getting a rescale. I do know the numbers behind the scenes, but I don't know if those are public. I do know it's going to be on some of the chassis, Catapult, Nova, Locust, shrinking quite a bit. There's mechs that are getting blown up quite a bit. So anyways, we'll let you guys know, and we'll post it as soon as
That's
possible.
such. Yeah, I can't wait for that, man. That's gonna just change a lot. Well, I don't know if a lot of mechs,
I,
but it's
I,
gonna change quite a few of them.
I don't think it's going to change the game. I think it's going to help
No,
a
no, no,
few.
no.
Yeah, it's going to help a few mechs out
Yeah.
that have been either really underskilled and have been getting away with a lot of things. Let's see. Okay, CK, and this actually I already had this on the notes. He's talking about tech jump. What do you guys think is the best way to handle future tech and new mechs? Um, Me personally, I'm down for the idea of a tech jump. Obviously, they're going to have to do it. The question is when, how many mechs are left in this current time frame, or is there any other equipment that comes out in the 3053 sort of area? But also, I feel like there needs to be a bigger discussion, again, going back to sort of balance and mechs and stuff like that, quirks and all that, before that happens. I feel like before you add another weapon and system on top, make sure at least everything currently is around about where it needs to be. But that's a bigger question in general.
Was
But
his question specifically about weaponry or also mechs or just
it
everything?
would have to be both and equipment, because some mechs have like heavy lasers, rotary
Well, I think
autocannons, X-Pulse, stuff like that.
honestly, I think the jumps in the timeline are going to be mech based. In other words, that's what's going to make the jump happen, not tech. I know that Paul is not anxious to add new weaponry to the game at this point, because we're still balancing the weapons that are in game, like you were saying. But it's inevitable. It's gonna happen. I mean,
Yeah, it has to
uh,
happen.
but I
And
think it's going to be driven by the mechs that are available and mech packs that are coming out and
I,
so forth.
I, and this isn't official, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like 3060 or something, because
Yeah,
3060 gives you a 7 year window and opens the door to a lot of new chassis.
ton of
So
mechs. Yeah, there's so many that people keep requesting, and they're only a few years out ahead in the timeline. So we'll see. Yeah,
SL,
MRMs, light Gauss,
yep,
all
SL
kinds of cool
bit,
stuff.
the rescale quirks are not going away, but they were altered slightly on those said chassis that got smaller. All right, next question. We have would you like the Thanatos? Of course, the IS Omni. That's another question too, is IS starts getting Omnimex as well. And I feel like sort of to reiterate the mechs and balancing and why take this Omnipod? We have Omnipods that are sort of completely useless right now and stuff like that. And I feel like all that needs to be solidified before a tech jump. But yes, of course, I think why not? Um, here's a question for you, Darren. What mech would you like to see in next in the game? Ooh, you can't. We already know
You know,
what.
you know, you know why this is a hard question?
Yeah, because you know what mechs are. You can't. Yeah.
Well, no. It's because I'm happy.
Oh yeah, because you
I'm
got.
content, man. I've got my mechs finally. I don't know. There's so many, dude. Here's the reason why I want to see any mech. Because every single time Alex Iglesias, Flying Debris, does a new mech design, he just blows my mind. Mind blown every time. And so I love seeing him take the old artwork, the mechs that we've been seeing for decades, and just make them way better. Yeah, there we go. Halo dude, Bushwhacker, of course. I mean,
Is that right?
that's a favorite of mine. It's not the favorite like the Warhammer and my Unseen, but Bushwhacker's awesome. So there's so many mechs, man. I mean, just think back to our time in MWLL, the mechs that we had fun in there, the Hollander, the Uziel, there's just so many. There's a lot that I want to see.
Um,
The Mackie is not one
no,
that
I
I'm anxious for.
no. Uh, if I could pick a mech to be in, I have two. I'm gonna toss out this. Uh, the Anvil. Uh, Ghost Arnett, if you don't know what it is. The Anvil, I think that'd be a really cool chassis. But also like the Devastator, I think would be fantastic. You read a lot about it in the novels. 100 tons of just in your face, dual Gauss, dual Peep. I don't know why. That's it. Just I think it would be fantastic. But as far as yeah, it's another thing that's tough is actually knowing what backs are coming, and that people have no idea. And you guys are gonna
We
be
were just
happy.
looking at some concept art earlier
Oh,
today.
oh, it's so good. So, all right. Let's see. What about Elementals? That's by Darkheart X9. I think Elementals would be badass. I think PvE.
As AI.
Actually, can we branch off here on top
No.
of that sort of Elementals PvE?
Hmm.
You have been playing Fractured Space,
Yep.
and they have PvE elements, correct? Now, I haven't played yet. I've been watching, right?
No, not really. It's pretty straight up PvP. What they have is you have like
Bases?
well, it's actually very much like a MOBA. You pretty much it's you have corridors. No, think of it like it's basically Dreadnought but in MOBA form.
Okay.
That's what's like. Now you have
Do you have creep? Like your
no,
AI creep?
no. You have little ships that you can launch from some ships, like little squadrons or whatever. But no, there's no AI really.
Okay. But I feel like AI, elementals, tanks, I mean that even with armored warfare, they have their little like you can
Well,
do.
look, dude. Here's the bottom line with AI. People love blowing shit up. I've watched people new to the game going through that first tutorial, and you know how you can blow those vehicles up in that tutorial.
Mhm.
People love just sitting there blowing those little freaking vehicles up, and those aren't even spectacular. They just kind of vanish. I think bringing in stuff like elementals, tanks, hovercraft, infantry, helicopters, you know, aerotech, whatever, all this shit flying around, it just adds to the battle, especially, and this is what we've said from the beginning as soon as the discussion started on AI, especially if it's done right. When you do AI incorrectly, oh, it's just such like so annoying and it's a distraction. When you do AI correctly, it adds to the game. It's fun and
Titanfall.
yes, Titanfall done correctly.
Titanfall, the AI was fantastic for being inside the mechs, outside, them talking to you, the interaction, fantastic. And
I think it would just add more
well,
action to the
we
battle.
know
You
it's
know?
we know it's going to happen. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, it's happening.
Russ has talked. He said,
Well, there's people
AI,
developing
PvE.
the
Yes,
AI right now.
Todd Kim says Titanfall was a flop. That's a different topic, but I say you're incorrect in that. I don't think it was a flop.
Well,
I think they're
Titanfall 2 is coming out, but
in the context of I thought it
yeah,
was
I'm just saying
fantastic in
we're saying
engagement.
very specifically regarding their AI. Their
Yes.
AI was done
The
well to where it was
immersion,
immersive.
yeah, the
Yeah.
immersion level, fantastic. And if PGI can get those elements in, I mean, obviously we're already addicted as is. I mean, can you become even more addicted?
Honestly, the AI could be, it doesn't have to be Titanfall level to be enjoyable and good in MWO. It's a totally different thing. Of course, that's infantry and it's a first person shooter or whatever. Whereas this is, you know, big mechs and then you're going to have little tanks and infantry and whatever the AI is going to be represented in this game. So it'll be different. It doesn't have to be the same as Titanfall, but it just needs to be enjoyable and immersive and not doing stupid, you know, stupid AI stuff. That's what you want to avoid.
Phoenix Gray, will camera mode ever be available for us? Pro, what? What do you mean camera mode? You're talking about the spectator? You guys, that's on the private matches. Anybody can use that. We had a few questions about CW, guys. We've already sort of talked about that in length. So if you missed that, to make sure to check it
Who
on the
doesn't
recording.
want to unload a bunch of freaking machine guns and flamers on AI, you know, and infantry or tanks? Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that stuff.
All right. So again, this is live community questions where you guys post and we just sort of randomly talk about stuff. So make sure to get your questions, topics, discussion, whatever. Sorry, hiccups. But yeah. So oh, by the way, again, another plug while we have a lot of you guys here. Don't forget we have a new storefront, and everything's on Amazon. And for those that did the pre-order for the Atlas T-shirts. To sort of give you a comparison, I'm wearing the new one from Amazon. This is how big the print is. It's my entire torso on the new shirts from Amazon. I mean, it's literally the entire, look at this. It's feet. So for those that may want one of the newer t-shirts, the print area and the quality of shirts, this is actually my favorite shirt so far. So make sure to check that out if you haven't. And of course, that link is down below, or head over to NoGutsNoGalaxyStore.com. All right, let's see. Cyclops, that was already sort of asked. Of course, looking forward to it. Not so much, just because I don't pilot assaults as much. Is that bad?
Yes. No, of course not.
Havenless, of course, CW, PvE elements to CW. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it needs to happen. I think there's a lot of things that could be updated on CW. Again, we were sort of talking about that earlier. But feel yours small, right? There's that. Unlike that guy over there. Yeah,
What are you saying? What are you saying,
you're
man?
tall. You're tall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. I have a few other things on our doc here. Leaderboards, solo and group. I'm still torn, man. I mean, solo, I'm super excited about. I think solo leaderboards is going to be great, just because the randomness of the control you have in a match and solo queue. I just don't know how the group queue how that's going to work. I'm torn on it. We've Let me ask you. I'm not going to give any input because people have heard me enough. What are your thoughts on the group queue? Just regular quick play group queue. Are you happy with the group sizes? Are you happy with the tonnage restrictions? I'm not going to say anything.
Who are you looking at up there?
I'm the ceiling
You're not
because
making eye contact with me.
you know.
Uh, no, we've talked about this. No, I'm not happy with it. I it, I know there's plenty of people out there that disagree with me, and that's fine. You have a right to your opinion. My opinion is that Group Q random battles should be limited to 4 people, a lance. Yes, I know clans have stars, and that's fine. But I'm saying I want the best gaming experience. I want people to get into games quickly. I want people to the matches to be as balanced as possible. And as far as random battles go, I think that should be limited to 4 people. Now, well, what if I have 5 friends or 6 friends or whatever? Then that's what faction warfare should be. But there's a huge but, like, I like big butts. It's not set up right now to handle that. Faction warfare isn't a place right now where groups can go and have fun and get quick matches and all that stuff. So, that being said, I don't think anything should be done to the group queue until faction warfare is set up so that it can handle groups in the way that groups want to play, so that there's not 20-minute queue. Well, so there's way reduced queue time, so that there's, much better, enjoyable, engaging gameplay, so that there's better rewards. So basically, what I think is you've got to fix community warfare, then work on the group queue. Until then, I don't think we should mess with the group queue because I don't think it's fair. There's no place for those people to go to get the experience that they're having now.
I'm gonna hold off on saying anything. So we're gonna move on
Yep.
to to another topic. Apparently, again, we have
We're
horrible
disappointing
ideas.
Jacob.
Jacob's like, why are you guys even talking?
I know.
Um, is that Lothar says Phil Victor Davion Lane. Whatever, you tall people. You're not even that much taller than me, Lothar. Like Daeron is, but All right. But yeah, I'm super excited for leaderboards. Group Q, it'll be interesting. It'll be another thing. Um, see.
Jacob, yes, the community does go ape shit when you talk about limiting group size, but my daughter also goes ape shit when I tell her she can't have a second dessert at night. Not everything that people want is what's best for them.
Or
I just
what
think
is best for the game and what is best for the players.
yeah, I mean, yes, you can pick somebody that's going to be totally pissed that they can't play with their 7 friends in group queue. However, if I'm again, what I'm I the whole my whole point is based on faction warfare being fixed so that it's a great place for groups to go and be enjoyable and get the gameplay that they're looking for. It's not there right now, so I don't think that we should be messing with group queue right now. MDM, you don't even get one dessert.
Jacob. Jacob! I think Jacob's a bot. I think that's really what he is. It's just he's set on angry mode.
All right, what's another topic? We could wrap this up. We've been going for a while.
I don't know, man.
If
We
there's
haven't,
nothing else to
Um, what was I? Oh, I just had something.
I don't know. Now you're thinking about pie and dessert, aren't you?
No. What was it? Ah, yeah. You can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. I do think that's yeah, we've heard Russ even talk about it way back. And I remember he said this on the town hall. He said, "Look, we're at that tipping point," because I think they made adjustments to the tonnage per group size, right? And he basically said, "Is we're at that point where you guys get to choose any group you want, in group size. You get to pick any mech. You can take the best, all take the best mechs, and you get to now vote on the map, and something has to give. And obviously we have the map voting that's happening now, so a little bit different. But it's so crazy to me as a gamer to hear someone say, I don't give a shit. Basically, I don't care about the balance issues that will occur. I want to be able to play with my friends.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? That's just human nature, and
But
sometimes you just gotta go,
here's
oh well.
and I'm like, well, what other freaking game like this that allows you to do that?
Well, here's a perfect example. Look, okay, two with the game we were talking about earlier, Fractured Space, and then I compared it to Dreadnought. Okay, those are two very similar games. You're playing what are the big ships called? In
Dreadnoughts,
no, like
Titans.
yeah, anyway, capital ships. Okay, so
Okay.
both games you're playing capital ships, destroyers, battleships, dreadnoughts, etc. Dreadnought looks, in my opinion, looks way better. I like the ship design better. I like the
It
graphics
does.
better. It's just an amazing looking game. They sold me on the ships, but you know what? I got bored of it after 3 days. The gameplay is just you get in there, you fight. It's just skirmish essentially. I mean, yes, there's more to it, but the gameplay got pretty stale pretty quick. Now, Fractured Space, I didn't like the ships as much. I didn't like the graphics as much. It didn't catch me. It's like music, like a good, like a total catchy pop song. You hear it at first, you're like, oh, this is nice, but then you get sick of it after hearing it, real quick. Whereas other really quality music, it might grow on you over, and then all of a sudden it's just you'll always love it or whatever. It's the same thing. Fractured Space, the gameplay is way better. So maybe it doesn't have the graphics, maybe it doesn't have as cool ships or weaponry, but the gameplay far surpasses, in my opinion, Dreadnought to where it makes it a way better game. So, in my opinion, gameplay does totally matter over, well, this, maybe minority personal opinions or whatever. I feel
Oh,
like gameplay is such an important factor and it gets overlooked.
it
And
it just blows my mind. Again, you have, we have someone obviously, not to call them out, but you have someone that says, I like playing with bigger groups and I don't play those other
I get
games
it.
because I can't play with my, friends.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, that's again, it's like me looking at you and saying, Darren, you want this thing, or you want to play with bigger groups. But in doing so, it's going to open Pandora's box of balancing issues. And you will, for the most part, not like the fact of some of those balancing issues. Are you okay with the consequences? And to me, I guess it's like, it's the freedom or whatever choice of saying, okay, yeah, we're okay with the balancing issues, but then you almost want to say, I don't want to ever want to see you bitch and complain about any type of balance issues because, ergo, of that.
Yeah.
You can focus on mechs and balance and this and that, but that's totally superficial. Most of the problems, as far as in MWO with balance, have to do with group size and game modes. It usually doesn't actually have to do with mechs because guess what? You slam one hammer down on one, it's whack-a-mole. Something else comes up. It's generally speaking, it's not mechs. And it just blows my mind that people out there are like, I just don't give a shit. So to me, and this is where it's going to upset. And you said this last time on the podcast. You said tough love. And I respect, Russ and PGI, and anybody out there that they could have just said, fuck it, we're gonna do it anyways. If you don't like it, tough, tough love. Like they've at least tried and stuff. But I feel like it is that time to sort of talk about those things, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
and just to
Yeah,
be real clear, guys. Fractured Space is not a perfect game. I'm not saying that in any way whatsoever. It's just an easy comparison to Dreadnought and some qualities that I do see. But yeah, it does have a major population and matchmaker issue. But anyway, yeah, I think tough love is totally appropriate to a lot of these issues. Um, and again, I just want a better game. I don't want to lose things any more than anybody else does. I don't want to just get rid of, you know, larger groups just to frickin' spit in the eye of people that like playing with their friends. Never. When I see people go, I like playing with my seven friends. Hey, I totally get it, man, and I feel for you and I understand. But ultimately, I feel like a better game is more
but you
important than that.
see,
And having that alternative for you so that you can still play with your seven friends, but obviously that alternative doesn't exist right
but
now.
here,
And so
here's
that's the problem.
here's the thing that me as let's just say. Maybe I play with small groups, or in the past solo group, but we don't have to worry about it. To me, what about the flip side of that? Couldn't someone argue, well, screw you. You're ruining my playing experience because every single time I drop, I'm
Yes,
going
and people
against you
do.
guys, and
Yeah.
you guys are rickrolling teams left and right because one, the control of the match. Two, you're also taking some of the best mechs. Three, your coordination. I mean, it stacks. Boom, 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 boom. Can I point the finger at you and say you're also the problem of why I'm not having a good experience, and it's just as equally unfair for me. Ergo, uh, I think, and again, this sort of goes back to who's right, who's wrong, and ultimately,
Opie.
it comes down to what is best for the game, and that's something they have to decide. That's something Russ has to decide and make
Russ
it.
is going to say this is going to hurt me a lot more than it's going to hurt you as he spanks us or disciplines us. Yeah. Anyway, things for the future, things that I think need to happen. Some tough discussions, some tough, you know, introspection, maybe tough changes.
Yeah, it's sort of like Overwatch, or like if you're allowed to just drop, this is where again, it just what free to play title out there allows you to do, what currently MWO allows you to do. Um, World of Tanks, no. Armored Warfare, nope. World of Warships, nope. World of Warplanes, nope.
Dreadnought, no.
Dreadnought, nope.
Fracture Space, no. There's
Every
none.
single game, and they could be like, "Oh, I don't give a shit about other games.
Well,
It's
what
blah blah
the
blah."
one argument that some people have said is, well, then that's what makes MWO
No,
unique. And you know what? I have experienced that. I've experienced people coming from those other games and saying, "Oh my gosh, I love that I can play with 7, 8, 9 people." And I'm going to say I totally get that. Yes, it is unique, but do you know why 9.9 other games out of 10 are not doing
yep.
it?
It's
They're
called
not doing
balance,
it because it fucks up
and
matchmaker. It fucks up
but
balance.
for average Joe Schmo, and I think that could be said is what we're talking about is a trade-off, right? Where you're allowed to have a bigger group or any size group, but in doing so, you're potentially giving up the balance issues. You're right. You're conceding that, and I think average Joe Schmo, may not see it as a big problem because I play 10 matches and we win 7 out of 10 matches. But the difference here is as you move up in skill and group size, uh,
Sorry, just reading chat. They crack me up.
that is gonna swing heavily in favor of one, thing. Anyways,
Yes.
I still think it is a made from. It is a reason why other games don't do it, and it's something that Russ has talked about on the town hall. We just haven't heard anything because obviously CW ate up, but CW is out. So the question I'm gonna sort of ask out there is, what will be the next thing? Obviously, we won't know until Russ talks about that. As far as will it be Solaris? Will it be Polish? Will it be game modes? Will it be I don't know. Will they decide? He's talked about the engine upgrade, but that's pretty much a whole nother, you know. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Yes, indeed.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, I just people are funny, and yeah, I mean we are a very extremely passionate community. But as you've always heard me say, and I always will say, it's the best community in my opinion. That's another thing I've experienced from a lot of people coming over. We've been working with YouTubers and Twitch streamers from other games. We go basically poach them and so forth, and over and over and over and over again, people are just blown away by our community, and I love that. I love you guys out there, and the passion can make for some frustrating discussions and arguments, but it's also can make for the best discussions. And yeah,
Well,
it's very unique to our
I
game.
mean, we Journeyman you've worked with closely. Junkers I got to play with like 2 weeks ago, and he actually said, which was one thing I've heard from multiple streamers that come over to this game or just players that is VoIP for the most part. People are actually useful on it. Like, even though I have my own issues on stream every once in a while, for the most part,
Our VoIP is so much better than
right?
almost every game out there. Yeah,
Um,
not quality. I'm just saying as far as the people on it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, there's that as well. Kincaid says, Phil, $50 to tell us what the next mech is. Phoenix Hawk?
Phoenix Hawk, it
Yeah,
comes out
man.
in a couple weeks.
Where's my money? Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
I want to see that PayPal go through.
Um, by the way, it is live community questions. We're having a good time. We'll go for a little bit longer. So again, any questions you guys have for topics of discussion, feel free to drop them in chat. If you want to tag at NGNGTV, feel free to do that too, so it'll pop up a little bit easier. Um, any update on the Ghost Heat replacement? Not since Russ said there was issues with it.
Tarka says Ghost Heat will be replaced by Phantom Cooling.
Sidewinder checks in the mail, Phil. Thanks, bro. Appreciate
Yes.
that. He bought breakfast or dinner. Let's see. Vector base. I get this. How about we put turrets on CW maps? I see what you did there. Let's see. The Mackie. Did Daeron switch hats to a darker color?
No, actually, but I can see that there's. I think it's the client that we're using for the video. It's darkened the picture for both
Oh,
Phil and myself.
yeah. So we're not using Skype. We are using Zoom. And quick shout out to Trainsy TV for telling us about this. Um, apparently, I actually bought us a year
Yeah.
membership. I didn't mean
Phil just
to.
dropped like $150 on
I
this,
was
so I hope
like,
it looks well.
I was like, oh, it's only $14.99.
You know what? We need a few of you to buy some shirts, actually.
Yeah, guys, buy shirts.
NoGutsNoGalaxyStore.com. We need your support.
Shop on Amazon. We got an affiliate link, tips. No, actually, I didn't mean to do it. But yeah, I swear I had the 14.99 checked, but nope. Yep. Um, let's see. The Scarior. He says, I'm planning on starting a YouTube series on drop leading. Any requests or things you want me to cover? All the things. All
Yeah,
the
you know what?
things.
I haven't seen a series on that or really tutorials, and I think, you know what? I so I've said a lot of times I totally respect good light pilots because to be a good one, you have to be, it takes some skill. You can run around like a crazy person like myself and just avoid fire because you're small, but the good players are really good, and that takes talent. Drop collars are the same thing. To me, drop collars are worth their weight in gold or platinum or unobtainium or whatever. Drop callers can make, and you've experienced this, Phil. Just you're in a match and you decide, okay, I'm going to take, the bull by the horns, and that can literally change the whole outcome. And so many times, people are just quiet, and you think, oh, they won't listen to me. But as soon as somebody starts taking command, they respond. They want it. People are shy. People don't want to do it themselves. Maybe they don't have the experience. They don't have that, the qualities that it takes to be a good drop caller. I totally support you teaching more people how to do that by doing some tutorials or whatever. Yeah, it's basically everything that there is to do with the drop calling. We need more drop callers. We need more leaders out there. They're always invaluable.
I had an interesting experience stream. Was it 3 month ago? Um, yeah. Unfortunately, the drop caller who wanted to be the drop caller wanted to be very negative and vocal about it. And if you had a different opinion, he basically said, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're going to try to drop call, just expect a little bit of resistance here or there and expect some negative blowback if you lose or if you mess up. At the end of the day, if you talk to most units, drop calling, most units I know have a very no talking back or no being negative because you're under pressure. You're going to mess up a lot. And the great thing is group queue is a great, sort of place to do drop calling or even solo. And I don't know how many matches, and I'm just so used to doing it, I guess, of just saying, hey, we're pushing left, pushing right. And generally speaking, when I'm streaming, even last night, I noticed there was a few battles that I was pretty quiet in, and I knew I probably could have said something, hey guys, let's stick together, let's move together, move to the right, move to the left, hey, attack my target, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes those matches we lose, and internally, I know I probably could have influenced that match to the better, of us winning if I'd have just spoke the hell up. And even though sometimes I like to just stream and just play, it is what it is. But
Well, I mean, that's the bottom line. Sometimes we're lazy. Sometimes we're just tired. Sometimes we've been talking all day and you don't want to do it. But honestly, it's like even if it's just calling targets, if that's the only thing you do, that can be a game changer. That can be a match changer. And then if you just add on a little bit, hey, flank to the right, flank to the left, watch out, we're getting flanked or whatever, then every step can just be a little bit more It's that intel, and I myself, I've said it a million times. I'm a soldier. I'm not a drop caller. I'm not a leader. So I am one of those people that when somebody wants to take it, I will follow. I don't care if they're making the wrong calls. I'll follow them because they're stepping out to be a drop caller. They're putting themselves out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely need to have a thick skin or be a duck. Where the
Well,
water
and
rolls
if
off or
you're
whatever.
if you're doing drop calling, say whatever you're gonna say, and if someone's doing their own thing, don't say anything about it. It is what it is. You're not, for the most part, for instance, if you're on River City and you have two lights that just go off to do their own freaking thing, and more than likely they're going to die or what it is. But if, and this is something I guess who was asking the question is it is what it is. Don't sit there on VoIP one wasting comms time or whatever, but berating them for whatever reason. They may die or they may do an epic flank and help turn the tide for whatever it is. It's something that I try to do, and I'm sure I slip up every once in a while to, just
Who posted that
would it be
question about drop calling, by the way?
the Scarior, I think.
Okay, so yeah, the Scaryard, guys, if you see him in a match, give him some support. There's also, I see Take Me Out, LOL, he's in chat there. Take Me Out is a streamer, and exactly what we're talking about. He drop calls. He gets out there, he puts himself out there. He came from, other games. He's not totally new to MWO.
You know who does it all the time that everyone knows? Panzer. He does
Panzer does it.
like he does obviously
But click on
role playing.
real quick though. I was pimping Take Me Out, LOL. Click on his name, Take Me Out. Say something there in chat if you guys don't mind. Click through on him. Follow his channel. He's a great streamer, really good person. Streams with his girlfriend who's always behind him. But he is a drop caller, and I think we should be supporting these guys in every way that we can.
It's funny. There was a Reddit post. Was it a week, two ago, guys? It was where did all the streamers sort of go in the community, and I was like, I actually see more streamers in general as far as the amounts. Like even last night when I got done streaming at whatever time it was, there was a ton. But I think there's a few things to streaming MWO. First off, it's a niche game. Anybody like even with what it is, what it is. Like I don't think it's realistic to say if all you do is stream MWO, you're probably never going to have 300, 400, 500, 600 people
Look,
every single day.
MWO is it's the type of game where people will go away from it, come back, go away from it, come back, and you'll see that with streamers, you'll see that with YouTube videos, and you'll see it with the population within the game. There's no getting around it. It is what it is. The game went live 3 years ago.
But also, there's a few things. I said this in the thread. Personality is the biggest thing. Are you a top player? Are you highly skilled? Bike Man. The most hilarious streamer I watch almost on a daily basis. I just turn on a stream and put it on my other screen. I just listen. Like he is the most entertaining dude ever.
And he's okay at games. He's not like
Yeah, no,
like
he's
even like he plays MW all the time, and he's kind of but he
the,
is so friggin' entertaining.
the shit
So
that
yeah,
comes out of his mouth. And
right.
and then the other thing would be video quality, audio
Yeah.
quality. Do you have the TV run in the background? Some people don't mind. Me personally, it drives me batshit. Like it drives me batshit. Like I'm like, hey, when we do like community drops, I'm like, hey, can you fix your mic mute, please? Something. Video quality. That's another big thing. And this is something I sort of point a finger at Twitch more or less because of bit rate, and if you don't have transcoding and you're not partnered, that's one thing Amazon, come on. But video quality, overlays aren't necessarily needed. Some people don't have webcams and stuff like that. So sort of go off on a random again. I feel like there's plenty of streamers out there, but I also, from what we've learned, is are you utilizing Twitter? Are you utilizing Facebook, YouTube? I mean, are you getting in touch with other streamers? Are you dropping with them? And
But that's a general streamer
yes, but
topic
for
rather
for
than as
for MWO in particular, we always want to see more streamers, and we want to see people be successful. It's just it is.
and I try and reach out to as many streamers as I can, and support them. But I am only one person and human, and don't have all the time in the world, or clones of myself, which I wish I had. But we love our streamers, and we will continue to support them in every way that we can. And yeah, you'll see when new maps, new mechs, when this patch comes out, there'll be more people streaming, and it's a cyclical thing.
Um,
Come on, Lathamir, stream.
all right. Let's
We've
see.
been going over an hour.
I know. Yeah,
I'm ready for dinner.
you don't need food. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna do three more questions and then we're done.
C4 Saru says he just bought an Atlas shirt. Hope that helps. You know it
Hey, I
does.
think someone else just did too. Hold on. Who was that? By the way, Atlas t-shirt. I want to order the Timberwolf one, just
Well,
because
this
it's
one is
bigger.
available too. The Warden.
You got yeah, but that's the older one. It's gonna be even bigger
Yeah, yeah. It's this shirt, but it's gonna be better,
in
bigger,
colors. We like
better.
it. Um,
Women's sizes, children's sizes, everything. Check it out. NoGutsNoGalaxyStore.com. Boom.
over an hour hype. Let's see. Ooh, I'm gonna do a quick shout out by the way, and I've been meaning to actually talk to this guy for like a month. I'm a horrible person, but there's a
Thank you,
little
Mark.
project that I'm gonna point you guys to, and if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna stream this by the way. I need to get in contact with him. He goes by Capper Deluxe. Capper, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry, dude. We're gonna hook up on TeamSpeak or Discord or something. But he's been working on this project. I don't know if you saw this, Daeron. I'll drop it in Skype for you. But also drop this. It is it's called Rogue Mech, and it's I don't know how to describe it. He's got a new version of it. Hold on, I'll drop the link in chat. But I'll actually drop the website he has. He has a GitHub for it as well, open source and everything. But it's basically like a Mega Mech tabletop clone. He goes into detail a little bit more, but
I mean, it looks like Mega Mech, so is that what it's based off of?
yeah, there's updates to it. And anyways, I'm gonna stream this, but I need to get in contact with him because, you know,
Is it fully operational? Is it a fully operational
yeah,
battle
no,
station?
and I think he's even got it's multiplayer. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, let's see. Rogue Mech is a turn-based game that you can play in your web browser. This release highlights the following features: 2D animated unit movement and weapon fire, no sound effects yet. Player versus player PvP gameplay, no PvE or co-op yet. Free for all team, free for all game modes, no objectives yet. Win loss and kill death tracking with front page leaderboard. Battle log recording, no replays yet. 90 plus stock 2025 era Intersphere units and technology, no clans or customization yet. 30 plus maps. He's got server, Battlemaster server, Crusader server. Anyways, and the cool thing with this is the potential for again, um, for him getting uh, some help and stuff. So if you weren't aware of this, make sure to check it out. It looks
I
pretty damn
didn't. I
cool.
wasn't listening when you read that list. Did you say it is multiplayer?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, here's a link.
Man, remember we had so many Mega Mech campaigns going on back in the
Yeah.
day. I want to get back to that.
Well,
That
and
was fun.
what I think would be cool, something like this, and even with Mega Mech, is does it have a built-in sort of campaign tracker where me and you could start up a do some mech warrior role play, and then go forth
Yeah, it'd be fun.
and conquer. So, oh, and speaking of which, so now that I don't, yeah, I've told you. Now that we've moved our store to Amazon, I don't have to handle T-shirts anymore. I've actually packaged up everything into a box as far as merchandise. We're going to be giving those away, by the way. How we're
Did you
going to
put
be.
a hole in the box?
I'm not going to go there. So what we're going to do is I have a whole host of T-shirts of multiple different sizes, different T-shirts. And what we'll do is we'll have giveaways, but we'll specifically say what size the T-shirt is so you know what it is. So you can, but I put everything up in the closet. Everything's packed nice and neat. And I'm going to actually be moving my desk and everything. But the reason I'm saying this is I'm going to set up a little, my little workbench and minis. I'm going to start painting minis on here, I think. So that's going to happen. You guys can help me for those that have done minis. I need to talk to, was it UC? He does the mini painting,
Yeah.
right? I need to
Yep.
get some tips from him. And I'll do some live mini painting and stuff. And um, I've only got like 180 to paint. So let's see. All right. The Scarier I will get it when I'm in game, man. Appreciate it. Let's see. All right, so I haven't seen any more questions. Guys, we need 2 or 3 questions that haven't been talked about
Dude,
tonight.
I can
Topics,
smell my
discussions.
dinner. It's out there waiting for
It's
me.
gonna be cold. No one.
No update, Mark. Still looking.
Let's see. Yeah, he's still looking. So as soon as we
The
know.
guys, the housing market has just dried up for the summer. So we're literally, my wife and I are looking every single day.
Ooh,
We've applied to multiple places, but we're just not there yet.
so we will be having in the near future Randall Bills on here. We haven't had him on for a while.
We got
Uh,
Randall coming up. Yep.
R-
Marauder Bear, he subscribed 2 months in a row. Sub hype Marauder Bear. Thank you for the support, man. Appreciate it.
Quad Mix, what do you think? Are we talking about MWO or just in general? Phil, will MetCon be live stream? Yes. And I think we're going to be up there a day or two early, so we're going to do a special podcast as well. Me and Daeron will be working and helping out with the event. And it was announced the casters, right? That's
What?
officially.
Yes, it is official that Bandit, who is he still? Yep, Bandit's still here, and MDM Zero are the official shoutcasters for MWO World Championships 2016.
Dun,
Yeah,
dun,
it is
dun.
official.
And I think I'll be
You
in
and I
the
will be there, and we will be participating as well. We'll be
yeah.
working in a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll be getting Bandit coffee and MTM coffee.
Yeah,
Be-
and I guess I can't drink as many rum and cokes this time.
No, no. Let's see. Quadmex, do I think they would work in MWO? I don't think you'll see them in MWO. At least that's what we were told in the past, like just the technical reasons. And also too is I feel like they they offer a different sort of issue with the whole like aiming and is it more like I don't know,
Wait,
but
what are we talking about?
Quadmex. Oh,
Oh,
someone mentioned HBS BattleTech. I think we're gonna have them on a podcast hopefully soon.
yeah, we're reaching out
Maybe.
to them, so hopefully we'll get Mitch and Mike and whoever get some Q&A going on. Nothing scheduled yet, but we are working on it.
All right. Any thoughts on the new assault mode changes until it hits and we get to play? Nope. Uh, is medium rebalancing to make them relevant again? Panzer tree, huh?
All right, I'm going to allow one more question. So better be a good question. Drop something in there. Otherwise, we're just dragging this on. And
All right.
I wants to eat.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Anyways, just want to say thank you to everyone who showed up live. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the new
Thank you,
overlay,
guys.
new system. I can actually see Daeron. He can actually see me now, which is pretty cool. Normally he has to watch and it's a delay. So again, shout out to Transy for getting us towards Zoom. But anyways, big thank you to our community, our listeners, new and old, and of course our patrons and Twitch subscribers and supporters. And again, if you'd like to support us here at NGNG TV, make sure to check out the links down below, the Patreon things as well. Information will be updating that when and if the mama bear, the beard will get out here. But even then, quick shout out to all of our subscribers. Thank you guys so much. And again, don't forget we did update our store. We have a new store. Make sure to head over there. We do have men's, women's, children's sizes, multiple different colors. Only a select few t-shirts up right now, and then
More will be added over the coming weeks.
I guess that's a question. Are we gonna do a poll for the next Pixel Mech? Do you think that's appropriate? Like put up like it's gonna be an IS Mech because we just did the Timberwolf. Like put up like
No, I think we already know what the next one is. Maybe after that we'll do a
what's
poll.
what's the next one gonna be?
Well, do we want to say?
I don't know. You say.
Hunchback. Hunchback's the next one.
So we are doing the hunch. Okay, so it's gonna be the
Yeah.
Pixel Hunchback. All right, so we're gonna do that, and then you guys can check that out. So, anyways, guys, don't forget. And again, this is the T-shirt, and we got a few of them up there. But just head over to NoGutsNoGalaxyStore.com. And guys, this was your local No Guts No Galaxy MechWare podcast. Signing off for tonight. This is Phil.
And this is Daeron.
Until next time, Mech Warriors.
See, we can sync that way better now because we can see each other.
Right? It's so cool.